Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for whoever's tuned into this video. I'm coming to you from Second Beach out here in La Push, Washington on the Great Olympic Peninsula. I am down here on Second Beach. It is a beautiful day. It's overcast, but it's still nice. I've hiked down probably 300-400 yards away from the trailhead where you pop out onto the beach, and want to share a story with you all. So the story goes, it has nothing to do with poop, but it's still a funny story. So the story goes, some friends and I decided to go on a camping trip to the Norwegian Memorial, which is about 8 miles north of Forks. We got all of our camping gear together. We had hiked down to the beach. We set up camp. This is when I was still in my active addiction. We had brought some alcohol down there. I think there was a bachelor party right around this time too, but I'm pretty sure that this wasn't the bachelor party. So anyways, we were, drinking, having a good time. A few of my friends had traveled up from Texas. They went to school in Forks, really good, close friends of mine. So there was a lot of the times down here, I don't know if it's like this anywhere else around any of the other beaches in the world, but a lot of the times people down here will build structures like forts out of the driftwood. And this night in particular, there was one out in front of our camping spot that had been built previously before we came down to the beach, and it was a pretty good sized structure. It was probably 15 feet tall by 20 feet wide. And as the night progressed, it was getting dark. We decided to move our fire out to where the structure was at, and we decided to light the driftwood on fire. It was, out in the middle of the sand, away from, brush or anything like that. When we had lit this on fire, the flames got huge. It had got hot. The flames were shooting, probably 40, 50 feet in the air. It got really hot. It turned it had burnt the sand around it, to brown or golden, or to gold, We ended up moving. At one point, my friend had got wet, and he was wearing these jeans, like $115 pair of jeans. Who wears jeans like this on a camping trip? He had gotten wet, and we were up by the fire, up by our camping spot, and he decided to take his pants off and dry them out. So he had laid them next to the fire. Well, he ended up going into his tent to go to sleep, and a few of the other guys and myself decided to stay up. Well, we decided that we were gonna do something funny to Jared, and we had taken his pants and laid them over the fire and had burnt them and burnt the legs off them. I mean, these things were as short as Daisy Dukes, and I ended up grabbing them and pulling them away from the fire, back far enough to where he had them, so it kind of looked like the fire had caught him, and then burned them up to that point where I'd stopped. After that, we decided, a handful of us went back down to where the fire was at, down on the beach, off that structure that we had caught on fire. And as the night progressed, everybody started to slowly go to their tents and pass out. Well, the next morning, I had woken up to the sound of a helicopter, that poof, 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 poof. And I remember I had poked my head out of my tent, and I looked out on the beach, and it was about 40 feet in the air. And I could see the sand was, the sand from the propellers was going up in the air. It kind of looked like Tasmanian devil sitting there spinning, and all of a sudden, a body jumped up. And it was looking around, and as the helicopter's flying above him and the sand's doing the Tasmanian devil spin, he's looking around, and I noticed who it was, and he's seen me. We both locked eyes, and he just took off running. And he's running as fast as he could run. He just jumps into my tent head first, and he's screaming, "What's going on?" I was yelling, "What's going on?" And this helicopter's sitting there, and it's just kind of looking around, and As this is going on, Jared wakes up and he comes outside his tent and he's asking what's going on, and then he's screaming because of his pants. He's screaming, "Oh, what the fuck happened to my pants? My pants are burnt." Yeah, it was just so much chaos going on, and then all of a sudden the helicopter, flew north of where our camping spot was at, but I would really love to know what the guys in the helicopter were thinking. They were flying, doing their whatever, and they'd seen the burnt mark, from a bird's eye view, and ended up turning around, seeing a body laying there, thinking that somebody was SOSing, and they were laying there dead, so they were coming around, come down real low to see what the situation was, and then all of a sudden this body gets up and starts panicking, and then takes off running. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, just so much chaos going on. And the funny thing about Jared's shorts was that he had to wear those shorts all weekend long. These Daisy Dukes. I mean, there was time his butt cheeks were hanging out. We would go up to tourists and purposely stop and talk to these people, and he'd be standing there like, "Come on, guys, are you serious?" Man, it was fun. It was funny. I don't know if I actually told Jared that, I was the one that had done that to his pants. So if you do watch these, or if you ever do watch it, Jared, I'm sorry, but it was priceless. It was epic. It was worth it. Yeah, don't ever wear a $115 pair of jeans on a camping trip. These things were denim or whatever, had all the bling on the pockets or for the buttons and stuff. Yeah. So, anywho, I'm just gonna kind of kick back, relax down here, keep soaking up the scenery. I kind of wish that the sun would shine so I could watch a pretty sunset down here, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Not today anyways. I think everything was, legal for burning that down there on the beach. I don't want to do anything illegally. I want to stay legal. So, anywho, with that said, always do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people think or say about you, because in the end, they don't matter. You matter. And with that, I'm out. Y'all take care, and God bless. Oh, wait, one more thing. I would just like to say that sobriety is going well. I got 8 months of sobriety under my belt again. Before I'd relapsed, I almost had 3 years. 3. I'd love to someday sit here and be able to say that I have, 30 years of recovery. It's one day at a time. I just got to keep, pushing forward and doing what makes me happy. And yeah, life's a beautiful thing. The sober life is a beautiful thing. All the feelings and the emotions that one feels from, the tests that God places before us. It's what sobriety is about. That's what life's about. Yeah, not seeing things through, those beer goggles, seeing stuff so clear. I think back to that story I just have shared with you guys. That story in particular, I never enjoyed the beauty of the beach then like I do now. I love taking these walks. I love being down here. That's why I kind of wanted to give a story being down at the beach, because it's so beautiful down here. So anyways, with that, I'm already 8 minutes deep into this. I will be coming with you guys, or to you guys, with another story. Maybe I'll bring a poop story up next time. I don't know. I've been keep racking the brain and try to give you guys some funny stories, but choose the sober life over the drunk life, or the just addiction life in general.